Welcome to the Dutch Endeavor podcast. We are back. Some of you are probably unhappy about that. Most of you probably super happy about that. Uh, um, my heart's just not in it tonight. But we're gonna make this one fun, or we're gonna try to. The Avs are on. They're playing like shit. And after the last podcast, oh, I'm still recovering. Lots of drinking, lots of things going on. Um, I'll cover those things. But we had fun. If you didn't hear the last one, you definitely should. It's a little long. It was 3 hours, but there's video. There's a girl, um, and it was fun. We talked about a lot of weird shit. Things got weird. I don't remember past like 25 minutes because I was having a real good time. Um, but yeah, check it out. You know, let me know. You want RJ or Blippo back? Uh, I assume you all want RJ. I've seen the comments so far, because it's on YouTube right now. It'll be live on the rest of the stuff later. Oh fuck, Minnesota just scored. Yeah, we might be going back and forth through the hockey game because Minnesota just scored. They're beating the Avs right now, 2-1. Fuckers. Okay, so lots to talk about. Let's see, where do we start? Um, oh, Coca Cola. Fuck, dude. I love Coke. I really do. I mean, not like Coke. Maybe. But Coca Cola, that's what goes in my bourbon. I only drink Coca Cola. If I go to a restaurant, somebody's like, hey man, Pepsi alright? Fuck no, Pepsi's not alright. That's why I asked for a Coke. But this week, they said some dumb shit. Or I don't know, they put out some corporate training crap. In case you didn't hear, Coca Cola put out some corporate racial diversity training, and basically the message was basically figuratively and quite fucking literally one of the signs said be less white. I mean, part of me doesn't even know where to start with this. The fact that we've gotten to this point that Coca Cola's advice is to be less white, fucking burn it down. Who gives a shit? If we've reached this point, it's over. I'm not gonna start drinking Coke though, because Pepsi is so much more crazy and shittier tasting. I guess I could make. I've never tried the Soda Stream stuff. I don't know. Let me know. Maybe Soda Stream is. Fuck, dude. Coca Cola is just so good, but they're so hooking penalty on the wild. All right, all right, Ass. Maybe we're gonna have a 3-on-5 coming up. All right, so Coke fucked up and said stupid things about diversity training, and I'm really not sure how we got this nuts, and people are still like, oh yeah, cool, like, roll on, brother. Um, Again, this is back to the offensive crap, but really, if you're buying this shit, you're the problem. You're the stupid person that is making this bad for everyone. This is back to the whole thing that I today's liberalism is definitely a mental illness. You you can't think that putting a slideshow together. I wish I had the slides, but like I said, I'm just my heart's not really in this part of it tonight. My heart's not in any of this because it's just all so depressing. But I'll try to make it fun. Maybe the Avs will win and it'll be even more fun. Last week was fun. I'll drink more. It'll be fun. But it's just so depressing. How the fuck did we get here that this is something that be less white is even a thing? Fuck off. Black people are. They're also 20% of the population. You want 20% of the say? Okay. You don't get 100% though. And that's what, be less white. You mean be less Let's not even step into that. But yeah, Coke fucked up. I'm sure it'll bite him in the ass somewhere. Probably won't because the woke crowd will latch on it. Maybe you'll start drinking Coke. Let's see. Oh, Biden's town hall. We might have covered this on the last one, but again, I was having a good time, so I might not remember. But just real quick, a couple things. And this ties in with the other thing that we're going to play a new game called What If Trump Said That? So imagine this is that old Trump, he's up there and says, hey man, black and brown people just don't know how to use their computers and the internet. Fuck man, the world probably would have ended. People would have been riding in the streets, burning shit down. CNN would have had aneurysms. PSNBC, everybody would have been beside themselves. But actually, it turns out that Plugs, Uncle Joe, Sleepy Joe, got up there and said, hey man, them black people and the brown people, they don't know how to use that internet or their computers. And everybody's just like, okay, well, fuck me. That's not racist at all. That's just Joe being Joe. And it's okay because Orange Man bad and still bad. We are still harping on Trump and the man's gone. Um, what else did he say in that town hall? Oh yeah, the whole thing, like, another one of the, God damn it. Grubauer just gave up another goal. I don't know if you guys watch this, but lately he's always out of position on saves, but he's horribly out now, and the Avs are just out of sync, and it's tough to watch because I love them, and they're so good. They're the best team in hockey. They have like their top three lines are better than anybody else's line. Grubauer sucks. Fight me on that. At Dutch the Beast on Twitter or at Dutch in Denver. No I. Dutch the letter in Denver on Twitter. At all that shit. Fight me. I mean, you can argue with me. That'd probably be better. Alright, so back to Plugs' town hall. He said black people can't use computers or don't know how. Then he also goes on, like I said, to say, hey, we didn't have a vaccine before I was elected. Before I was elected? Oh, no. Oh. But Dutch, you're wrong. Yeah, I know it's wrong. I was doing it for dramatic effect. Biden said we didn't have a vaccine when we took office. Biden and Harris took office. That's not true. And what do we call things that aren't true? Lies. Or entertainment. Yeah, okay. I mean, he lied about it. Or he just misspoke because he's a crazy old man with dementia. Which, that's what I'm going with. He's a crazy... But no one said a thing. It's just like, oh yeah, no. Biden Harris, yeah, they did it all. Fuck Trump. What the hell? Orange man bad. It's just... And if you can't see the contrast, this again, why liberalism is a mental disorder. It's because they don't see the contrast. They're just like, oh yeah, Biden just slipped up. If Trump had said that, let's switch and say that Biden was in office with Harris for 4 years, and they're the ones that had the vaccine implemented under their administration, and then Trump got up and said, well, we didn't have a vaccine until we took office. You people would be beside yourself. We would have liberals dying in the streets over this. They'd probably be rioting. That's basically what you do for a living. It's nuts to me that it doesn't seem like people see the difference, or it's not even a difference. Just what if Trump had said this? What if Trump had said that well, the blacks and browns can't use an internet? Fuck me, it would have been bad. I mean, it would have been funny for me because I think this is all funny. At a certain point, I truly believe that half of you are fucking retarded, and I feel bad for you. I feel worse for us because right now y'all are in control. And I mean, for instance, Kerry came out and said we got 9 years left. We've passed so many deadlines we got 2 years, 5 years, 12, until the end of the goddamn world because of climate change, and nothing's happened. Nothing. and we just keep moving the goalpost, and now it's. I think Carrie said 9 years, and we're totally fucked. We were supposed to be totally fucked 20 years ago, and we're not. Oh, but that doesn't fit the narrative. But this is again people just going along with it. Yeah, all right, yeah, cool, yeah, fine. That's what 12 years. 12 years is up. The 12 years has been up for 20 years. So we're at like 32 years. Yeah. Now it's not. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Fuck the new Green Deal. Get rid of it. Bring it all down. How does anyone take this crap seriously? Let's see. What else? Oh, the governor of New York. You guys have been following this. The whole like the nursing home thing that he didn't report the numbers and shit like that, and nothing will happen because of that. Yeah, he killed old people. And now this is this is the more interesting thing to me because we all know that everyone has lied about COVID. There's not that many. There's not as many deaths as they say. It's not as dangerous. All of it is just a bullshit lie. But what I'm more concerned about is now he's been oh, nothing in the housing. All right, now he's been accused of sexual harassment and silence. Absolute silence from everybody. If it had been Trump, if it had been anybody else who wasn't on the left side of the aisle, oh, excuse me, what happened to the Me Too movement? That only applies to certain people. Dutch, you gotta know more. You gotta be better. That's right, I do. So apparently, Me Too doesn't involve Democrats or anybody like that, or murderous governors from New York. Sorry, scoring opportunity. You guys should be watching the Avs game while we're doing this. All right, so murderous governor from New York sexually molest someone, and everybody's just like, oh, yeah, who cares? But if it had been anybody on the right, they would have been crucified beyond belief. They would have been canceled. Fuck your cancel culture too. I know I've said that before, but cancel me. I'll kick your ass. Um, that's not a threat. YouTube or whoever's listening to this or iTunes, not a threat. But seriously, you trying to cancel me, I will kick your ass. I'll find you. I got nothing better to do. But yeah, the guy was accused of sexual harassment, and what happened to Believe Women? Nothing. Oh yeah, the hypocrisy of the left. God damn it! I keep forgetting that. I need that tattooed somewhere. I'm gonna get a new tattoo too. We'll talk about that later. Maybe a sleeve. Um, let's see what else. Oh, so watching the Avs game. It's almost over. It's not almost over. The second's almost over. We got 40 seconds left. Um, but this weekend. Excuse me. So we all know the only sports I'm relegated to now are hockey and hopefully upcoming baseball. But who knows with COVID? The Avs were part of the outdoor series in Lake Tahoe this weekend because Stadium Series had to be canceled because of COVID. Because I don't know why. I mean, people are still wearing masks outside like fucking retards and all this stuff. But so the Avs are out there in Tahoe, and they've got a 1 o'clock game. Now I could be wrong, and the weather could have been supposed to be super cold, blah blah blah. But someone who lives in Colorado and knows how cold weather works, it could be 0 degrees, and if the sun's out and you're like sitting directly in the sun, it's like 40 or 50 and you're comfortable. I've sat out on the patio or the deck many, many times in shorts and t-shirt when it's freezing outside, but I'm in the sun. Um, how the NHL didn't see this coming, especially with giant glass panels like surrounding the ice, and so when I was a kid, and I think when many of you, probably more male than female, were kids, we had these things called magnifying glasses, and if you lined up the sun, it it went through and it made a little dot, and the smaller you can make the dot, the more intense the heat was. Like you could light matches and fireworks and start fires with this, and what we mainly did was burn ants and bugs with it. And no, we weren't psychopaths. It's just what you did. But this was like a basic thing of physics that you learned since you were like 7. That if you shine sunlight through glass, it would make a magnifying effect and melt or heat things up a lot. So the ice is like slush, which again, Colorado skiing on slush isn't fun. That's why spring skiing isn't fun. It's a tourist thing. Skiing in shorts isn't fun. It's like skiing on slush. It's awful. Early season skiing and late skiing is not good skiing. It's a tourist trap. And people are like, oh yeah, I want to get those last days in, bro. And well, your life revolves around it, and you're equally a loser. But yeah, skiing on slush is not fun. I can only imagine skating on slush is not fun, especially when you're a professional hockey player, and you know, and the Avs, Jesus, the fastest team in the NHL, followed by maybe the second or third fastest team. It was a sloppy first period. Ugh, God, and the ruts they showed were huge. We're talking like 12-foot ruts are like 4 inches deep. You can't skate on that. Also, you're a $1 million hockey player. You don't want to get hurt on that. I totally get that. My issue is it should have been planned better. It was super fun to see him outside though. Tahoe, it looked very pretty. You did have the pine trees of snow, clear blue skies, picturesque, perfect. Except the sun's out magnifying the ice. It made it horrible. A couple things. It's 2021. You don't have bigger cooling shit. You should be able to make an ice rink when it's 80 out. Um. So yeah, so they go into the first intermission that lasted 8 hours. Yeah, they ended up finishing the game at like 10 p.m. Denver time, which yeah I stayed up for, but was a mistake. Um, and then the game the next day it was prolonged too because they still started with the sun out. You should have learned your lesson the first time. Play in the dark. You got lights and crap. I don't know. It wasn't what I thought it'd be. Super cool to see it. I would have loved to have been there. I'm sure a lot of fans would have been. I like the outdoor games. I think they're a good thing for the league. Um, I love them. Just you hire me. I can tell you that if you're gonna play in even if it's Colorado and it's 20 degrees, yeah, the sun's gonna fuck with you a little bit. So maybe let's play at night. We can still be outside. We can illuminate all around. We can still see pine trees. We can still see snow on the ground. We can still see all that crap. Just don't make me wait out 8 hours in between periods. What else we got? It's intermission on the Avs game if anybody cares. Um. Oh, all right. So, this is a little bit of personal information, like what's going on, because I'm working with professionals that are going to make this podcast better, more professional. We have a big announcement coming up in April, um, but and they're saying certain things they want out of me, like, hey, dude, you need consistency, and I want to be consistent. I really do, But some of the issues we're running into, and part of why I started this podcast, is like 6 months ago I had an injury. I tore my Achilles tendon, which in itself is a pretty bad injury from what everyone's told me and what I've currently experienced. Sorry, I was watching the plays. Um, and then now it's been compounded because I have a peroneal nerve, like a big nerve in your leg, um, that has been affected from the surgery or the nerve blocker. Nobody knows. Nobody wants to admit anything, and it's presented some major difficulties with me being able to do consistent things like surgeries with clots and blah blah. And we're gonna have other ones coming up, but I will try and be as open as I can. I'll try and be as consistent as I can, and I want to do the Tuesday, Thursday live streams, and those will be the podcast days. It's just if you catch it at that time, you'll catch the live stream, but the podcast will actually be on platforms. But there'll be a twice a week thing, and I'll try my best to do that. Part of it too is you guys give me some feedback because I feel like all we talk about is politics. But I was chatting with my buddy tonight, and we politics they've invaded everything. It's in our sports. It's in social media. It's fucking everywhere, and I don't always want to be negative, but it just right now it's fuck me. It's just it is all negative and it's all politics and it's tough. Trust when baseball starts, we'll talk a lot more baseball. We'll probably lose some people because you guys don't want to hear me talk about baseball for an hour. But I will. We'll light it up with guests. But that's just kind of what's going on, and I'll go into detail later. Like I've got doctors who are incompetent. The surgeon, I've been trying to get into this idiot. Well, the surgeon I see all the time, but I've been trying to get these referrals for neurosurgeons to fix the nerve issue since like mid-December, and here we are like in February, and everybody's still like, "Ugh." Oh, okay. Well, we can talk about this for a little bit. So, I mean, Oops. What was that? Nah, who cares? Um. So you guys know me, I'm pretty docile and not outspoken. But I had an appointment with my surgeon. And this was after like a bunch of phone tag that was like, hey dude, I need this referral. And he's like, okay, I sent it. I was like, okay, where? I don't know, we'll call you back. Okay, cool. And then they never call me back, so I call them back and like, we'll get right on that. And so like phone tag and just nobody doing anything for a month or more. So I finally get in to see this guy. And like the third referral he's tried to give me, it turns out that this neurosurgeon has been retired for like 3 years. And I called his office and was like, "Hey man, are you sure this guy isn't retired?" And like, "Oh, we'll check and call you back." And clearly, he never did. I Google him and like in 3 seconds, I found out he's been retired for 3 years. So I finally get this face-to-face meeting with him, and he's like, "Well, take off your sock. Let's look." It's like, wait a minute, I need to talk to you about some things, dude. First of all, blah, and then I tell him it's like, "Hey, I've been calling you guys. I've been doing all this, and nothing's happened." He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, blah blah." So then his little MA comes in. uh, so there's part of this story too. I did telehealth, which telehealth is like you get on your iPad and you don't actually have to go in, and you just talk to them on your iPad like video chat, which because of COVID and they're much more available for telehealth, and some of these tests I wanted to go over with him immediately via telehealth, and that was my only option, so that's what I took. So one of these telehealth things I get is the census link that's like, Susie wants to start this conversation with you, and it shows a picture of Susie, And the picture of Susie, folks, Susie's like a 20 out of 10. She is smoking. And then clearly she comes on the telehealth and it's like, woo, well, different pictures, but yeah, I mean, you really got me into this, and it's not. But that we all have had experiences with that on the internet. You know, it's like, oh, she's really cute, and then or he, I'm not discriminating. You know, it's really cute, and then you meet him in real life, and they're not. So she gets online, and she's not. So I'm at the in person thing, and I'm telling this doc like, hey, you guys are incompetent. I hate you, and fuck me, and get your shit together. So he sends her in, and she doesn't look bad, but you know, she's got a little computer out, and she shows me the referral she sent over, and the referrals are really like my name, insurance, date of birth, blah blah blah. But it's not like an actual referral. It's just a stupid piece of paper with my name, Dave. I'm like, well, show me the referral on here where it says who you sent it to, what you. And she stares at it. And she's like, well, this is what I sent. Okay, well, fuck me. That's nothing. You know, this doesn't mean dick all. And then she had an aneurysm that I said the word dick and did like a 20-minute monologue about how it shouldn't be offensive. At this point, I'm super pissed. I'm ready to start really dropping F-bombs and stuff. And I say, and another thing is this referral that you allegedly sent, you referred me to someone who's been retired for like 3 years. And she looks at me and says, it's not my or our responsibility to make sure that the doctor is still practicing medicine. And I quickly responded like, well, I mean, it took me like 5 seconds to Google him. And her response was, well, I don't have that kind of time. How many patients do you see a day? And that's when I lost it. And it was like, you have to leave the room now because I can't, I mean, this level of incompetence, I can't take any longer, pretty or not. And I'm not one of those people who like tips pretty bartenders more than ugly ones. I tip good bartenders who are efficient. I literally don't care what the bartender looks like. I fully understand. I just want my drinks made properly and delivered in a timely manner. And if you're pretty and you do that, great. You're going to get the same amount of tip as someone who's ugly and does that. But if you're pretty and you're shit at your job, you're not getting a tip just because you're pretty. So, yeah, I was like, you got to get out of here because I'm going to lose it. I'm going to say much worse words than dick in a minute. So, the surgeon comes back in, and I was like, dude, you can't bring her back in here. I'm done with her. I don't ever want to speak to her again. This is absurd. And he's like, oh, yeah, but... So, long story short, we're still dealing with this. This was like a month ago that this happened. We've had a surgery since then, and some things have gone on. But, we're still dealing with this. No one's actually... They just still put you off, and... I'm patient now. I'm not going to be soon. And I won't say any names yet. But if this goes south, I will say names because I don't want this to happen to anyone else. I literally cannot feel my right foot, the one that I had the surgery on, the whole foot. And the times that I do feel it, it's excruciating, like nerve pain, like if someone hit your funny bone and then hit the top of your foot with a hammer. I don't wish that on anyone. But I don't want to throw them under the bus yet. I will though, because I have a feeling this is never going to happen. I mean, it will, but we're going to have to go through them. Not through them, but above them. But then it got me thinking that this surgeon's office is so incompetent, or because everyone makes that joke. Well, they're surgeons; they just want to slice and dice. And in this experience, because I've had other surgeries that have been much, much better, but this is so indicative of that. that they couldn't even be bothered to find me a doctor who is still practicing medicine. And now, granted, the nerve thing is very rare. I spoke to the anesthesiologist. He's like, "Hey, man, I've done a gazillion of these, and you're the second one that this has happened to. I'm super sorry." And he's all right. The surgeon is, he's like, "Whoa, um, and so it is rare, but I literally think that when I needed a neurosurgeon referral, they literally just Googled neurosurgeons in Colorado. And whatever showed up first, whether it was a neurosurgeon from the 50s who innovated something or whatever, or a retired one, is who they referred me to. And again, I understand that it's rare and it's not like a normal referral, but I still think that they should have like a collective, you know, list of people who are still practicing medicine. And I can understand if the guy retired a month ago, cool. I get that. The list hasn't been updated. But 3 years? Man, that's a stretch. That, ooh. I'd be like calling up an ex girlfriend and be like, hey, you want to go out? It's our 3 year anniversary. And she's like, wait a minute, we haven't dated in 3 years. And you're like, oh, I didn't know. Come on. That's, part of your. The big thing was, it's not their responsibility to follow up on referrals and all this stuff when it 100% is their responsibility to do it. I can't do it. I know how the medical field works. I have family in it. If you're that guy that calls all the time, it's like, hey, you get pushed down the bottom of the list. You do. It's the way that it works. If you're the annoying patient, you're the last one that they call. And no, it's not an emergency, because if it is an emergency, call 911 clearly. But it's a big problem for me. It's not for them, because I'm a problem for them. This is a surgery that went poorly, and they don't want to deal with it because it makes them look bad. But to me, the logical thing would be like, okay, dude, here are the people you need to see. See them now. We're done with you. And then I'm on to the referrals and everything's fine. But if I have to keep calling, 2 times a week, like, what the fuck's going on? And he's like, oh, let me check. And then he never calls back, so I have to call back. And I got the guy's personal cell phone number now, so I call him. I'm going to call him every day if I have to. I'm like, dude, seriously, chop chop. So that's a little bit of what's going on with me and why things could be a little bit wonky for a little bit. I'll try my best because I literally have nothing else to do besides like PT, doctor's appointments, and crying. I don't actually cry because I'm tough. Okay, so let's see. Perfect segue. I've always been a big talk radio guy. I listened to music when I was a kid. I mean, like a kid in mom's car. And then I rode with dad and listened to talk radio. You guys heard it, Rush Baby. But yeah, I've listened to talk radio for a long, long time. I like it. It's entertaining to me. I feel like you can learn some things. But one of the shows I listen to is it's a Denver show and it's on at noon. And I listen to it and then I switch over to another one to. I love Mike. Michael Brown, you guys, former femur, yeah. But the one I listened to at noon, the woman's name is Mandy, and she's very entertaining. She is smart 95% of the time. Sometimes she does some things that are boring and I don't care about, or she says some dumb things. And unfortunately, this is one of like the dumb things she was talking about. So she brought up a statistic that, like, and I'm gonna paraphrase some of this, but it isn't exactly the point, so it won't really matter. But the statistics she had, and this was a CDC thing, I think, or I don't know, this is a government thing, that gun violence deaths in the United States are X. Let's say there's 100 of them. 40 out of those 100 gun violence deaths are black, younger black people. And it was like 15 to 30, okay? But the thing is that the 15 to 30 black range only made up 2% of the population. That was the stat, okay? I might have butchered a little bit, you can look it up, but it was very to the point and vague and nothing else. It's fucking crazy. Because I'll elaborate on this. 2% of the population of the United States of America makes up 40. By the way, she read it, and I'm pretty sure she was right. 2% of the population makes up for 40% of the gun violence in this country. Think about that. That's insane. So then, a black guy, and I'm not saying that racially or anything, I just know it because he identified as a black guy in this thing, calls up and says, hey, don't pay attention to, again, paraphrasing, but this was the gist of it. Don't pay attention to those numbers at all. I'm super sick of people saying when a white cop or any cop shoots a black guy, they say, hey, but what about black on black violence? And Mandy kept saying, yes, cops kill black people, but black people kill black people. And I love Mandy. I listen to her every day as much as I can. Maybe not, a lot. And most of the time, it's great. But this time, I wanted to scream at her. And I know she wouldn't take my text call or anything like that. And we'll get into, people who talk and do nothing. But all she had to say was and. Not but, and. Cops kill black people, yes. And black people kill black people. So yes, cops, and we're not even going to say white cops because I'm sure there's been a black cop that has killed a black person. But yes, cops do shoot black people and they riot about it and they go nuts. But how many a year did the cops really kill? Less than 20? Probably. I think it's 13 is like the average recently, which again, 13 people killed, horrible loss of life. In Denver, the Elijah McClain thing, I can get into that later. I'm not sure we will, but horrible thing. George Floyd, horrible thing. Any loss of life is horrible, but if you're doing stupid stuff and you attract the attention of the police and they kill you because you're acting whatever, okay, small percentage. Not small potatoes, small percentage. But when we talk about, oh no, sorry, let's rephrase that. Not small potatoes, small percentage. And added to the fact that 40% of gun violence is black on black, the two things can, and Manny did point this out, which I will give her this, but it was a very dirty conversation, not like dirty F words and stuff like that, but just poorly constructed. And a bunch of black people are killing each other, and no one gives a shit. No one's rioting in the streets over it. It's just like, oh, well, pay no attention. Those black lives don't matter. And that is a little bit why I personally can't take any of this seriously. I mean, they account for 40%, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she said 40. I'm going off her numbers. If they're wrong, correct me. At Dutch in Denver, no I, or at Dutch the Beast on Twitter. Let me know. But when it's you versus you, and I say black versus black, and you account for 40% of the deaths of gun violence, and you're 2% of the population, that's a big fucking problem. And I'll tell you what, it's not nearly as a big of a problem as cops shooting 10 of you. Now, the gentleman who called in did bring up a good point and say, hey, the black guy who shoots the other black guy is a criminal. Yep. But the cop who shoots the black guy is either within his scope of work or a criminal. And I think for the most part, we've done that. We've prosecuted the ones who fucked up, and the ones who didn't, we haven't. And if you're pissed about that, I'm sorry, but you don't know what it's like. Like, your whole job is dealing with crazy fucks with a gun. I'd be pretty trigger happy too. I'd probably have a lot more shootings than some of the other ones do. I wouldn't fuck around. You pull a knife on me, I'm not talking you down. You're getting popped in the face. Avs just scored. Alright, 3-2. They could probably still pull this out. 17 minutes left in the third. We'll see how it goes. Okay, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put up with this shit. You charge me, I'd shoot you. I mean, you're a cop. You're trained to deal with this situation, but you're also a cop, and you have a certain level of respect demanded. So when they say freeze, fucking freeze. Jesus Christ. I don't care what goddamn color you are. Just freeze. And when they say stop, just stop. And yes, I understand that some cops are racist. Okay? But the majority of the time, that'll come out in the courts. But unfortunately, it never gets to the courts because somebody overreacts and pulls a knife on him and gets shot in the face. And yes, it will suck going to jail. But sometimes it's just better to go and be proven innocent other than assumed guilty and shot in the face. The puck's in the goal. Oh no, it's in front. Alright, he's saving. Okay. So, I mean, it's like that, never mind the mass murder over here, let's just focus on the one or two over here because it fits the agenda. And that's what I hate. For instance, the Babylon Bee, if you guys don't follow them on Twitter, you absolutely should, or get on their website or whatever. They're satire. And they put out some joke today about the corporate diversity training. And their one fucking slide was, stop judging people on the color of skin. That's it. That's how you end racism. But you can also not interject racism where it doesn't belong. Stop saying white cop shoots black guy. Just say cop shoots guy. Okay? See where we go from there. Just everybody, guy, girl, or person. Cop shoots person. See how it, and then we say, person charged cop with knife, cop shot person. Everybody be like, yeah, fuck yeah, good job, cop. But if you say white cop shoots black guy who charged him with knife, people are like, oh, fuck the police. It's nuts. And that's where we're at, though, right now. I mean, for instance, the governor, King Polis of Camirado, is being sued because we have a program, for small businesses in the pandemic to give them money, which I don't agree with at all, but we'll get into that later. Apparently, the rules of this were give money to minority-owned businesses, and that's it. No, just give money to businesses. Who the fuck cares who owns them? I have never once given my business to a business based on the color of the person who owns it that I wasn't unaware of. Now, there has been a couple times that people have been like, they put a BLM on their, painted on their windows, and I'm like, I'm absolutely not going to your fucking store because you're crazy and you're totally out of touch with reality, and you should never support capital BLM. Nope. And if you're not smart enough to know the difference, then yeah, I won't patronize your store, or I will not be a patron of your store. I've done that, but I have never once, gone into a barbershop and be like, hey, he's black. I'm out of here. No, And these weren't even actually. It happened at a ramen place at like BLM, and it's like I want to try this place. They weren't black. They were Chinese, Asian, whatever. And I'll never go there because if you're that stupid to support that cause, I'm not going to support you. If you're the black guy who runs the donut shop, or if the Home Depot has a black manager, I don't care. I will still go. Some of the best restaurants in Denver are ethnically owned, but they do not deserve the the stimulus money above white businesses. Or, well, yeah, it's white because they're not minorities. And it just proves that, again, some of the best restaurants I own, are minority owned. There are very few white ones that are like, yeah, that is the best place to get tacos, is down there at Cletus's Tacos. Fuck no, dude. You go to Juan's. And the best place to get Vietnamese food is not at Ben's Vietnamese. It's at Ho Chi Minh's. Shouldn't have said that. But you know what I mean. And I I go to these places all the time, and I don't fucking care. I just want a good product. So then, circling back around, the Colorado legislature, whoever the fuck's coming up with this retarded shit, says that, okay, so we're not going to give it only to minorities. We're just going to prioritize them. That's the same fucking thing. Do you not understand? That is racist in itself. If you give if you prioritize black businesses over white, that is racist. But yet we want to get rid of it, and people are just like, yeah, man, that's cool. And that's why I think y'all are stupid. Maybe not you all, but collectively y'all are stupid. And you voted for this shit, and you're just like, oh, this is right. It's not right. That's a logical fallacy of fucked up dumb. You're just like, yeah. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. I'm pretty sure that we will talk far more about that. Um, let's see what else. Oh yeah, Tiger Woods got hurt in a car wreck. I mean, it sucks. I don't think it should have cannibalized the news cycle like it did. I love Tiger as much as anybody else. I actually love him because he's a good golfer. I don't care about his personal life. It sucks he was in a car wreck. I hope he's fine. I don't want to hear about it for 2 days, though. It's just like the fucking airplane. Oh, God. So if you guys haven't heard, we had an airplane take off from DIA, which is our airport, and fly over a suburb of like North Denver, Broomfield, and one of the engines blew up and some stuff fell on the ground. It turned around and landed. That's exactly and literally what happened. Nothing more, nothing less. No one got hurt. Nobody died. Nobody even got hit by the debris. I mean, some guy's truck got fucked up. This has been in the news still today. And this happened, I don't know, a week ago? More points of why y'all are stupid. Who the fuck cares? To a certain extent, if you're not a complete fucking moron, you understand that all planes are designed to land with one engine. That's why they always have more than one. You fucking idiots. So yes, it was news where they'd be like, hey man, a plane took off from DIA, had some engine issues, some debris fell, it turned around, everything's fine. Maybe update people for the next 3 hours, because you might be tuning in the radio here and there. That being the story for the next week, that in Colorado, that was literally our news for the week. It was about this fucking plane. And it wasn't anything new. It was just the same shit repeated. And then it's gonna snow here. So cover your fucking asses. And actually it is. I think, yeah, it is snowing now. And it's gonna be bad tonight. So I will update you. Fuck, we'll try and get a podcast in this weekend. How this goes. I imagine it's going to be a shit show because I'm going to PT tomorrow in the morning. It'll be an awful wreck. But we harp on things stupid people don't know any better about. the plane crash, Tiger Woods. Again, I love Tiger. I hope he's okay. It doesn't need to dominate a news day for 3 days. Oh yeah, Biden put kids in cages too. Heard about that? No, of course not, because it doesn't fit the agenda. Um, oh, I think that's it. Let's wrap it up. I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate the ones that watch. Um, Find me on Twitter at Dutch the Beast. I'd love to talk to you. You know, give me some insight. Like, hey man, I love this part. I hate this part. I hate you. I love RJ or Blippo or whoever. Or Dutch in Denver. Dutch the letter N Denver on Twitter at Dutch Beach at Dutch the Beast. That's personal Twitter. And then the podcast one is at Dutch in Denver. No I. Listen to us on YouTube. Click that like. That helps us with the algorithms and crap. Anchor.fm/Dutch the Beast, Apple iTunes, everywhere. Continue listening. Reach out, interact. If you want to be on the show, fuck, I'll talk to you for a little bit. We can hang out and have some fun. I really appreciate all this, guys. And I'll see you next time. Bye.